the hard reset is the most useful tool that I've found guys to figure out either to sort their relationship out or to determine that that particular partner wasn't a good fit for them.
One of the most useful tools that I've learned is the hard reset. Now let me tell you about the hard reset. I want you to think about it. If you've played video games or if you've done anything that involves power, maybe with Wi-Fi or internet, a lot of times you need to do this. Sometimes with your phone. Sometimes you need to do a hard reset. This isn't where you just restart, right? You don't just push the reset button. When I think of reset, I'm aging myself, but I think of like Nintendo, where you push the reset button. No, what you need to do is a hard reset is actually turning the power off and unplugging it, waiting 60 seconds, plugging it back in, and then starting it again. And sometimes it's waiting even longer, right? To really let everything completely reboot. You can't just do a soft little restart or reset. Sometimes you need to take the battery out. Like there's various steps that you might need to take to get a really hard reset. And this is one of the most useful tools that I found that works in business, it works in health, it works in relationships especially well. So make sure you pay attention to all of these videos that I have attached here and the full length of this video. The first one that I want to talk about is business. So business hard reset is something where sometimes you'll just burn what you have to the ground. You'll just completely stop and you might have to lay off employees, you might have to shut down systems, but it usually takes about a week. Usually how it starts is you'll realize that your revenue is dropping or it's just not quite lining up where you'd like it to line up. And my employees are probably thinking, what's Rob doing? But no, my business is going well. But what you'll do is you'll want to look at like all your staffing costs, you want to look at all your software costs, you'll want to look at everything that you're bringing in, make sure that you calculate all your profit, and then maybe sometimes you just need a hard reset. And a hard reset could involve laying off the whole team, right? Maybe such a bad culture is seeped into the business that you need to lay off the whole team. This obviously isn't applicable to businesses that are in the hundreds of millions because it's much more difficult to navigate that kind of workforce and that kind of revenue numbers. But if you're like 10 million or less, sometimes a hard reset is really the best way to go. You can lay off all your staff, you can automate as much as you can, build as many systems, and this shouldn't take any more than a month. This is a very involved process, so it's not something I would say to take lightly, but it will allow you to reset everything. Where this works especially well is like marketing teams, sales teams. Those are usually where it works the best because maybe the sales team has some bad habits that they let seep in and maybe people have just gotten too used to it and people aren't, you've tried training, you've tried adjusting and it's just not working. So you just need a brand new staff with a fresh mindset that doesn't have any of these bad patterns built in. This can also be like owning restaurants. Sometimes you just need to clean house. This can be any brick and mortar type of business. This can be effective as well. And it should only take about a week. You want to look at your financials, look at all your software spending, look at all your employee costs, look at everything you have, and you just need to boot it all and completely restart fresh. And while this might set you back a month or two of revenue, what you'll find is that it'll often be 5, 10, 15x more productive in the long run because you took the steps to really clean up your systems. Because that's usually what it is. It's usually the systems just need a lot more work and a lot more fundamental work. I did a lot of this I didn't do a full hard reset. I did probably like a soft reset where I had downsized a bunch of my clients because they weren't profitable, and then I had also gotten rid of a bunch of staff. And they were good people, but it was just I can't carry salaries if I don't have clients for them to work on, right? I do marketing, so if they don't have clients to work on, then I can't do that. So it's always good to evaluate your business. I would recommend doing this quarterly because sometimes you might need to do a hard reset. It's not ideal, obviously. It's not ideal for anyone. But at the end of the day, like if you can't pay your bills or if you're sacrificing everything about your life, then you need to take a hard look at your business and how you can be more successful because it really shouldn't require any more work than a regular job if you're doing everything appropriately and your systems are set up appropriately. All right, the next thing you can do a hard reset is on your health. So how this usually starts, and this can also be done in about a week. Actually, all of these can be done in about a week. I would say a 1 week hard reset. So the hardest part of the hard reset with the health is getting the fitness because oftentimes people don't have fitness equipment, so it still requires them to go to the gym. But scheduling your workouts into your day at the beginning of your week is the best time. I'd say you have to commit to that, no different than you commit to a meeting. The other part of the hard reset is it's mostly the biggest part of the hard reset is diet, because abs are made in the kitchen. You can literally not work out at all, eat a high protein diet, and you'll still be reasonably fit. I work out probably only 2 or 3 times a week, and I'm focused on bulking right now, so I'm eating like 300 grams of protein. But I've done a little bit of a heart reset where you basically go in your house and you get rid of all the junk. And then you can stock up. You can go to the store and get what's on sale, right? Protein. We had a whole diet carousel, so check that out on my socials. But you have a whole regiment of what you can do where you can stock up on protein, you can stock up on very nutritious items, but it all starts with cleaning out your house of everything and then making sure that you have enough in stock and then starting meal prep. So by doing this, even if you only do it for a week or 2 weeks, it can be wildly effective in doing a hard reset for your health. Just going into your house and throwing everything away. I hate to say it, I hate wasting stuff, right? Maybe you could donate it to a food shelter, that's an option as well. But you wanna make sure that you clean up your environment 100%. 100%. So the hard reset for health is mostly about cleaning up your environment. And that's what most of these are. Like the health hard reset is cleaning up your environment and scheduling out your workouts. Those are the 2 main components of the health hard reset. Now, the relationship hard reset is one of the most emotional experiences you'll probably ever go through as a man, but it is an incredibly valuable tool to fix relationships. Maybe you're in a relationship and it's trending in a direction you don't like. So, you come to Rob and Rob teaches you some new strategies and you want to start implementing those strategies. However, the relationship has gone a little too far to the left, right? It's not really where you want it to be. So you want to kind of shift it back more towards the middle, right? So because you're the man, you're in charge, and it's just like all this power and all this, you have this weird dynamic with your woman and it's just not working and you're trying to shift, right? And she's a good woman and you want to keep on to her, right? Because there's always the flip side of that you just want to leave her over there and you want to come over here by yourself, which is entirely possible. The hard reset it'll go one of 2 ways, right? The first way is there will be a separation. The second way is, a permanent separation. The second way is that she'll come over and she'll meet you in the middle. And you have to retain everything that you've learned and apply it. So a hard reset in a relationship is basically when you're going to start setting boundaries, right? Everyone sets boundaries. Women set boundaries, men set boundaries, kids set boundaries. Like everyone sets boundaries for everything. So this isn't like a universal to men, but you need to decide what your boundaries are, right? And make sure you stick to those boundaries. And then when she crosses those boundaries, you say, fine, this is it. Boom. Hard reset can involve a couple things depending on your situation. It could involve you just leaving. I'm going, I need to think about things. I need to think if this relationship is really a good fit for me. I'll be back in a couple days. And you basically go no contact. Within reason, right? If you have kids and family, then obviously there's a little bit of nuance there. But the idea is that what you're trying to ingrain in your partner's brain is that they crossed a line and you're not okay with them crossing that line anymore. Now, if they've been crossing that line for a long time, then there's going to be a little bit more pushback. But they need to be known. When you do a hard reset in a relationship, you have to be completely ready to just walk away, to say this is it. And if we don't fix this problem, then this is it. Like I'm not going to deal with this. And if the relationship was already very positive, but it just had some issues to work on, she's generally going to come back. She's going to help support you, right? You guys are going to work together to work it out. However, hard reset will also tell you if it's just not going to work and maybe the relationship is too far gone and she just doesn't care. Because if she doesn't care, she's just going to be like, well, fine. And she won't contact you. She won't try to reach out to you. Like it won't be nothing. So typically what you want to do in a hard reset is you're going to say, you know what, I need some time to go, whatever your language pattern is, I need some time to clear my head. If you're living together and you control your domain, you can ask her to move out, right? If you guys aren't living together, then you can just say, you're gonna communicate it though. You're gonna be like, you know what, I'm not okay with this, XYZ, and I just need to be away from you for a few days. And then she'll determine it'll be determined if she can come back or not, right? And if she comes back, she has to understand that there's new guidelines for the relationship. So oftentimes when your partner realizes that they could lose you, as long as you've built yourself up to be a valuable resource to them, once they realize that they could possibly lose you, if they're a good person, they're going to want to work with you to be able to stick around. Otherwise, this will tell you if they don't really care that much, because if they're not reaching out to you, or if they go do some stupid shit like go party with their friends or do something like that, that's where you got to use your sniff test. You got to use your thinker and say, you know what, this person probably doesn't really care about me. I need to go find someone that's a better fit for me. So the hard reset is in relationships is probably one of the most useful tools. And every situation is different. So this doesn't apply to every marriage, every relationship. The concept applies, but how you enact, how you go through the actions of the hard reset in a relationship is completely nuanced. But for the most part, it's go no contact for a period of time, which you've determined, and you communicate this very well to your partner, and then you come back, but you have to be completely ready to walk away, right? And once you get to that certain level to where you've established your business and you're making money, then it won't matter. It won't matter what happens next. So, to summarize, there's 3 main ways that you can do a hard reset. You can do a health hard reset, which is basically where you're just restarting and kickstarting your health, getting rid of all the junk, getting rid of all the distractions and cleaning up. And then a business reset, which is the process of taking a hard look, spend 1 week and take a hard look at all your financials, all your software expenses, all of your profitability, all of your hours spent, every single metric. I have a whole list, so please DM me if you're interested in the whole list of how you do a business hard reset. And then there's also the relationship hard reset. And these will all give you, these will all provide clear signals if these components of your life are going to be a part of it moving forward, or it's going to change completely, especially in the relationship aspect. The hard reset is the most useful tool that I've found guys to figure out, either to sort their relationship out or to determine that that particular partner wasn't a good fit for them. And this could work for both sexes. I'm not saying it's unique for one particular person, but you just have to be 100% ready. Nobody's 100% ready. You have to be mostly ready to completely walk away from that relationship, which is really hard for a lot of people, because some people, won't take lightly to the hard reset. So there's some framing that you need to build up to before you get to it, but eventually you just got to say, you know what? Once they cross that line, say, this isn't okay with me. I need you to, and I'll share my case. We'll jump on a call if you have questions, and I'll explain my story and how I employed the hard reset and the impact that it had on my relationship. And I've used it several times with several different people, and it's always had the same effect, because then they understand how much value they could lose by not being with you. So, and yeah, hard reset, very useful tool. Definitely recommend using it.